The morning news continues. Thank you all for joining us. And I'm joined today by ABC News Political Director Avery Harper. Avery, thank you so much for dialing in with us today. Been looking forward to meeting with you. A lot happening globally and nationally. Let's start off with this one. California leadership, obviously, as predicted, at odds with President Trump. Immigration, climate change, electric vehicles. Does California have any other options other than to sue the federal government or eventually the feds win?
Well, we have seen the fight between California's Democratic officials and the Trump administration really escalate in the past few weeks. Like you mentioned, some of those ICE raids. We've also seen the National Guard activity in Los Angeles. And then we saw those resolutions signed by President Trump trying to block the California's effort to phase out some of these gasoline-powered vehicles. And yes, we've seen California really lose out on those battles. But what I think we can anticipate is that we're going to continue to see some of these battles waged in court. We know that Gavin Newsom, the governor in California, has set aside millions of dollars in legal aid to try and fight the Trump administration, where he says he believes that the Trump administration has violated the state's rights.
You mentioned Newsom and Trump, of course. They've been at loggerheads for years now. The president seems to view Newsom as sort of the head of the Democratic snake running for president perhaps in 2026. Do you believe that has something to do with it?
Well, listen, I think, like you've mentioned, both Governor Newsom and Trump have been at odds for quite some time. And the governor has really tried to position himself as a really prominent anti-Trump voice. And I think the visibility that he's gotten because of the protests and because of the National Guard has helped him to build a national profile as he could potentially run for president in 2028. We do know that anti-Trump sentiment across the country, he is only just one of those anti-Trump voices. And that is a unifying force for Democrats as they try to take back some power, and not only looking ahead to the presidential campaign in 2028, but also in midterms for 2026.
Talk about reaction. What did you see as reaction when Senator Alex Padilla was sort of manhandled in that Kristi Noem press conference? Did reaction to that basically fall along party lines?
You know, perhaps unsurprisingly, as many things in Washington land, they do land along party lines. And yes, we saw almost universally Democrats condemn Senator Padilla's removal from that press conference with DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. And we saw Republicans really say that Padilla should have identified himself better. And so, yes, unsurprisingly, we did see that fall along party lines.
The president also has mentioned he wants to ramp up deportations in what he calls Democrat cities and states. What would the fallout be politically to target states and cities from one specific party?
Well, listen, I'll tell you, I've been talking to mayors across the country, and there's a lot of fear. The fear is really palpable about what the Trump administration could do. Not only the notion, the possibility of sending in the National Guard or the continued protest movement as we've seen over the past weekend and in Los Angeles, but also there's fears about the possibility of the Trump administration trying to revoke funding from some of these Democratic-led cities and states. And so I know that that is something that mayors across the country are bracing for. They are consulting with legal counsel to see what it is they can do in preparation for whatever comes down the pike from the Trump administration.
Avery, before I let you go, one more quick question. An appeals court in San Francisco is expected to hear at noon today the situation regarding whether the National Guard can be used in California without approval from the governor. Do you see this going to the Supreme Court all the way?
Well, I think we have to wait and see what happens in that court decision today in order to see what is going to happen in the future. Listen, I think that this is a fight that the governor and state leadership in California is willing to continue to wage and to push for because they believe that the state's autonomy is at risk. And as we heard Governor Newsom say in some of his remarks last week, he believes that democracy is at stake. So I think this is not a fight that's going away anytime soon.
Avery Harper, we thank you. The ABC News Political Director joining us this morning. Avery, thank you. Do appreciate your time.